Welcome to Ask a Recruiter. My name is RJ, and I'm here to break down resumes and help you land an interview. Today, I will discuss what we as recruiters are actually looking for, give a live resume review, and finally, how to use AI the right way. Okay, let's get into it. So in your resume, you'll have your name and contact info, your experience, skills, and anything else you want to add, such as publications, leadership, clubs, and organizations. Simple is great in a resume. So you want to make sure your sections are easy to read, easy to find, and have clear headers. For each experience, 3 to 5 bullet points is typically a really great place to start. And for students and those who are early in profession, 1 page is a perfect length. In a resume, you have your experience section and your skills section. The skills section is a snapshot into the skills that you know, and the experience is showing what you've done. So skills show us what you know, and experience shows us how you use that. When I see a skill on a resume, I'm then going to the experience section to look for where you actually use that skill. If you're just listing skills, but not showing on your resume where you use them, it's not as believable that you actually know how to implement that skill. So one recommendation that I have is to remove fluff words that don't add value to the resume. Don't leave too much white space, but also don't take up too much space. Don't make your resume look like a novel. Now I'm going to review actual resumes. Let's talk about what jumps out immediately first. There seems to be an unnecessary design element to this resume that has taken up a lot of space that could be used better. Also, sometimes with design, it doesn't always translate to different types of documents, and so this may show up different on Word versus a PDF file. And I also noticed right away that this resume is 2 pages. Resumes for students and early in career can be 1 page. I think that's the perfect length. This resume could be 1 page. It's just that this candidate took up too much space with the design element. Let's talk about where my eyes go next. This candidate decided to put the experience section first and the education section second. I may decide to switch them, especially if you're applying for a early in profession or, in this candidate's case, an internship role. I noticed that he put his graduation date for May 2027, making him eligible for an internship role. It would be easier for me as a recruiter to see that first, to know that the candidate is eligible for the role that I'm looking for. Within the experience section, I think that he has good experience, but it is a little bit tough for me to sort of sort through from a first glance. I think there's a better way to format it. If he bolded the experience and made it obvious that that is the experience, and then what's underneath it, the bullet points are what he did or what skills he used, I think that would be more helpful for me. Reading through the bullet points, he has good information, but it is not very specific. I think that there could be some more information, some more data that would add a little bit more value to the experience that he's trying to show me. And then like down here, he does have a little bit more data. He worked with 3 teammates to build a basic web app. So that's good. It's giving me a little bit more of a picture, but I'm still not fully sold on the experience. Funny enough, this candidate does actually have a skills section here, which is great. However, I don't see where he used these skills in the experience section. So if he could tie the skills to the experience, I think that would help me a lot. I love that he added a leadership section as well. I think that he has some good information within the leadership. He could even shorten the leadership experience that he had and add more information about organizations that he was part of, or student activities that he participated in, or maybe certifications that he had, if he maybe had a publication or he was working in a lab, something like that, to make him stand out a little bit more on his resume. And then there's this section called additional, which I'm not quite sure what he wants me to understand with this. Is it additional skills and qualifications? Is it just additional hobbies? It could really be anything. So if he could just make it a little bit more specific and say what this additional section is all about, I think the information added is what makes it stand out. not the design. I think a straightforward resume format works really well, but it's the information that you provide that really gives you the edge. Anything that you can think of to help you stand out, whether it is that you were the president of a club, or whether that it is that you taught coding languages at a local high school. That's the type of things that show that you're passionate about this, not just in your classes that you're required to take, but also outside of the classroom. I would give him a D+ or a C-. I think he could really benefit from taking this resume to a friend and asking them to review it. Or on campus, there's so many career services that will help you take this resume and pick apart what's strong about it and format it in a way that makes a lot more sense. Now I'm going to review another resume. If I'm looking for a student, immediately my eyes goes to the education section, and it has a clear expected graduation date of June 2026. This helps me understand if you are eligible for an internship or if you're eligible for a new grad full-time role. Look at the education section, I am looking at the experience section, and within the experience section, I see that this candidate has a lot of really great experience in terms of the role that I assume she's applying for, which would probably be a software engineer role. Has some really great data about types of projects that she worked on and the impact that she had. And then also some other great information, such as the fact that she partnered with a group to translate policy requirements. So it shows that she has practiced collaboration, leadership, etc. Also, I see that she was a teaching assistant in Intro to Programming. So that shows me as a recruiter that she's not only comfortable to program herself, but she is also comfortable to teach programming to others, so could be a really great team player. After I look at the experience, I'll typically look for a skills section. On this resume, there is no skills section, but that's okay. Some skills are highlighted within the experience, but it is good to call out the skills and frameworks and coding languages that you know. For example, if you're doing Intro to Programming, teaching assistant, it would be great for me to see in a skills section what programming languages you taught. And then, I'm just kind of moving my way down. I'm jumping to the project section. I see a great project that has a big impact in terms of privacy. So I can see that this candidate is concerned about security, data, privacy. So that shows me, things that we are looking for. And lastly, I'm jumping down to this leadership section that this candidate decided to add. It's great. I love adding a section that shows these types of skills, such as leadership or organizations. In this particular case, she was a workshop lead at the Women in Computing student group. Leadership skills are very clear in this section. I think this is also a great section where she could add more information about certifications that she may have gotten or other organizations that she was a part of, conferences that she attended, and maybe if she had any publications, this would be a great section to add that as well. I would give this resume a B+. I think that they have information that is good in terms of the role that she is probably applying for. However, I do see a lot of white space. I think there's room to kind of beef up the experience section, maybe add a skills section, add a little bit more into like the organizations and student groups that she's a part of. One other thing I would say is the formatting could use a little bit of work on this. There is some formatting in the objective section that doesn't seem to make sense to me. Some of the formatting goes along further on the page than the objective section. So B+. I think that for students and early professions, you should keep it to one page. If you want to expand, that's okay. Just make sure that it's necessary information and information that's easy for the recruiter to find. We want to get in, find the information quick that we're looking for, and then decide if we should move forward with your application or not. I think a two-pager is more acceptable when you have a few years of industry experience under your belt, such as 5 to 10 years, basically. When using AI, here's what you should and shouldn't do. Using AI when you're writing a resume is great for clarity, but not for creation. Using it to strengthen bullet points, make things a little bit more clear, a little bit more concise, is a great way to use AI as a tool for writing resumes. It's literally a buddy that you can bounce ideas off of to get to where you want to go for your resume, but you don't want to use it to write your whole resume for you. I could ask AI to write me a resume for a role that I'm not qualified for, and it wouldn't serve me any good. Make sure that you can speak to every bullet point that you put on your resume, because your resume is a conversation starter for you and an interviewer or a recruiter or a hiring manager. So if you've used AI to create experiences and you aren't able to speak to that in an interview, then that will show. I think that there are signs that you can see when someone is using AI in a resume. If a bullet point feels like it could apply to any person in the world, then that is a yellow flag, I would say. You should make sure that if you're using AI to rewrite some of your bullet points or make things more clear and concise, that you're still capturing your voice, your experiences, and your skills within that bullet point. The only surefire way to not get an interview is to not apply for it. Take the chance, take the leap, apply for the job, but do the pre-work. Have a friend look at your resume. Have a counselor look at your resume. Throw it into AI and ask what the AI thinks of your resume. Then when you feel ready, when you feel confident, then you can start applying for these roles.